Few names from the deadball era stand out like Frank Home Run Baker. He was probably the era's best-known power hitter and baseball's original home run king. Walter Johnson also called him the most dangerous hitter he ever faced. John Franklin Baker was born on March 13, 1886, in Trapp, Maryland. In high school, Baker played for the baseball team as both a pitcher and an outfielder. In 1905, he signed with the Reading Pretzels of the Tri-State League. The manager quickly found out that he couldn't pitch well, but that he could hit. He also learned that Baker could not play the outfield well, but had more potential as a third baseman. In 1908, Connie Mack of the Athletics purchased his contract. The following year, he became the team's starting third baseman. He would play with first baseman Stuffy McInnes, second baseman Eddie Collins, and shortstop Jack Barry as part of the legendary $100,000 infield. Many considered this infield the greatest of all time, especially since in 1914, all four members finished in the MVP top 9 voting. But not everything was rosy for Baker. In 1909, Ty Cobb spiked Baker while sliding into third base and lacerated his arm. Baker called the play deliberate, though photographs later vindicated Cobb. Worse, somehow rather unfairly, Baker got a reputation as easily intimidated. A reporter even called Baker a soft-fleshed darling. In 1910, Baker batted .409 with 4 RBIs to help lead the Athletics to a World Series win 4-1 against the Cubs. In 1911, Baker led the league in home runs for the first time with 11. He also finished 11th in the MVP voting as he helped lead the Athletics back to the World Series. Given Baker's previous encounters with Cobb, the Giants believed they could intimidate him. For a while, it seemed to work. Fred Snodgrass spiked Baker in Game 1. Baker dropped the ball, and he had to bandage his arm. But instead of being intimidated, Baker raised his game. He hit the go-ahead home run in Game 2 against future Hall of Famer Rube Marquardt. In Game 3, he hit a game-tying home run against Christy Mathewson. Later in the series, Snodgrass once more spiked Baker. But unlike before, Baker held on to the ball. His heroics led to his nickname, and soon he became known as Home Run Baker. The Athletics won the World Series 4-2. Baker led Philadelphia with a .375 batting average, 2 doubles, and 2 home runs. The following season, the Athletics finished third, but Baker still had a stellar season. He won 2/3 of the Triple Crown with league-leading totals of 11 home runs and 130 RBIs. He placed 7th in MVP voting. In 1913, Baker once more won 2/3 of the Triple Crown as he led the league with 12 home runs and 117 RBIs. He finished 5th in the MVP voting. In 1914, Baker led the league in home runs for the 4th and last time with 9. He also had his highest finish in the MVP voting at 3rd behind teammate Eddie Collins and Sam Crawford of the Tigers. However, despite being heavily favored, Baker's Athletics were swept by the Braves in the World Series. At the end of the series, Mack broke up the Athletics dynasty. Baker sat out the 1915 season because of a contract dispute, but AL president Ban Johnson forced Mack to sell his contract to the Yankees. His new teammate, Wally Pipp, led the league in home runs with 12, while Baker finished second with 10. In 1917, Pipp led the league again with 9. In 1919, the Yankees led the league with a team total of 47 home runs. Given this display of power, a New York sports cartoonist called the lineup of Baker, Pipp, Roger Peckinpah, and Ping Body as the Murderer's Row. This nickname would be more famous in a later Yankees lineup. Baker sat out the 1920 season as his wife died of scarlet fever. In his absence, however, a new teammate arrived with the Yankees who immediately established himself as the new home run king. In 1920, Babe Ruth set the new home run record with 54. In 1921, Ruth broke his own record with 59 in 540 at-bats. Baker, on the other hand, had 9 in 330 at-bats. Baker later complained that the current ball traveled much farther than the one he used in his peak. But despite Ruth's emergence and Baker's slow fade into the background, the two men were reportedly on good terms and respected each other. In 1922, Baker only played 66 games and retired at the end of the season. Despite his nickname, Baker hit only 96 home runs in his career. He also had a 62.8 WAR, 991 RBIs, 235 stolen bases, and an OPS plus of 135. Following his retirement as a player, Baker managed the Easton Farmers of the Eastern Shore League. During that time, he discovered one of the greatest home run hitters of all time, Jimmy Fox. In 1955, he was inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and in 2003, baseball historian Bill James named him the 70th best baseball player of all time. Baker died on June 28, 1963. He was 77. Thank you for watching. Do you think Frank Home Run Baker still deserves his nickname? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. It helps immensely.